Hi guys. So one thing I want to read on right now is the tours, the Capitol tours that were given by certain House members in Congress to those who the next day stormed the Capitol in violent ways. So we have January 5th Capitol tours. And by the way, it went noticed, especially because they haven't been doing tours because of COVID. So yeah, there's no way out of this if they did it. And it seems like it could turn into a really big sort of criminal investigation. And it actually has now. I heard yesterday in the news that all the evidence in that has been turned over. Okay, so I looked it up. Congress is investigating this, but also the DC District Attorney is also investigating this. So I don't know if that makes it more of a criminal investigation there or what, but let's see what the cards say on this. My question is, will members of Congress eventually be charged for helping to incite an insurrection because of those tours they gave? So will any members of Congress be charged eventually with their part in that insurrection, having given tours to people on January 5th? Will we see charges eventually? Ooh, judgment. It's a good start. Okay, well, this is at least the people. There's definitely the people are rising up and judging, that's for sure. So let's see what else we get. So I do think I have a story here, and just to reiterate, this is very specifically only on charges to Congress for the tours, right? This is not reading on the bigger investigation into the insurrection and all who may have been involved in the planning, like Trump, maybe Bannon, those types. This is just a smaller focus on that one question of those who gave the tours. Will they be held accountable and how, right? You know, and specifically, can a tour, like in this Hopes and Fears, this 5 of Cups, you would really have to prove, in order for it to be criminal, you would have to prove that this tour, these tours were actually pushing for the kind of death and violence that occurred. I'm pretty sure that's the level of like offense that would have to be reached in order for it to become criminal. So that's sort of the question, I think, at hand. So, like, you know, I think this is showing us the situation we're in now. There's judgment. People want answers. People are rising to say, what in the world was that all about? We want answers. This can also represent the riot itself, as it is a card of uprising, though that was a dark and violent one based on lies. It makes sense here in that sense as well, with the question being, did those tours help push it forward in the scary way that we saw play out? Covered by this Page of Rods, which I believe is the investigation itself. It's a new investigation. So like looking into an official looking into it is occurring, which we know. I have here on the surface this page, this Queen of Rods. This to me brings me to that Boebert woman. It's just that expression is what I just see her face in this. So I think that's who that they are really looking at. Is she one of the women who gave the tours? If so, I think she's really being highlighted here. So that makes me think that she's being highlighted in the investigation. And then beneath the surface, we have this Page of Cups, which tells me I believe they have a bit of evidence that there is someone who has given something up on her. And I don't know if this is just because I saw this girl on Rachel Maddow the other day, and this Page of Cups is making me think of her. She wasn't on Rachel Maddow, but Rachel showed a video of this young woman who was at the insurrection, and she's being investigated. She's the one who stole Nancy's laptop. And I'm thinking of her because she would make these videos where she's almost like in costume and like doing these Nazi salutes. There's like a weird like theater, and this Page of Cups is sort of like that young theatrical person. So I'm wondering if it's literally her or just one of those people. It does feel like a female, and then this does feel like, so I don't know if like Lauren Boebert, that this girl was one of the ones who got a tour from Lauren Boebert or what, or if I'm just going there because it's like taking me to those people who are being questioned and who were part of that insurrection. Someone here does feel female to me. So, and then we have just the cards showing, this is the stealing, right? This Five of Swords, the trying to steal the election like we saw that day. I can't help but think now also of the stealing of Nancy's laptop. If somehow these two investigations are going to end up crossing or overlapping, so that's what's being investigated. She seems to be the highlighted person, the one that's really on their mind. And then this is a card, the Seven of Pentacles is like, you reap what you sow. I'm definitely taken to the word sow, S-O-W. It's like she helped to sow chaos. That's why these cards are all here. They felt that they had been robbed, or that's the story. They told the big lie about the election. She was front and center in helping to sow this chaos. Someone's talking and saying that that was their experience, or they were in her tour, and like, so it's like a collecting of evidence, but also showing what she did, and it will, I think, become more clear. I do think she might go. So I'll get to that in a second. Here is sort of where we are. I believe like in the country, we have this wonderful Empress card. This is like, there's like strength and comfort in the fact that we are in a good place right now. So the foundation of this investigation is healthy. That is a healthy, strong card. And then there's a Queen of Cups. It's just sort of reassuring. And then there's this Queen of Cups, which I probably don't even know this woman, but I think there's someone who is taking charge of this, or it's someone. It does seem to keep taking me to Congress, because I think that eventually that's where this will play out, more than in a, say, criminal court system. I think I figured this woman out. I think she's a mother. She's very cold, private, and fiercely protective right now, because I think she's defending her child. It would be her adult child, of course. And I think probably the person beneath the surface of the reading could also be a woman lawyer defending a younger person like that. And I feel they fully plan to blame those in high positions for influencing the violence and bad behavior. That's the protectiveness. So that's interesting to see here. I think we might see a lot of that blame pushed onto these leaders from the families, maybe even in separate lawsuits. Again, this Five of Cups, the blood spilled, you see that there in those cups. They would, I believe, for this to be criminal, they would have to connect those who gave the tour to the bloodshed itself. Basically that they weren't just answering questions, but directing them to commit violence and insurrection. And it's, I'm not sure we'll get there with just those specific members of Congress. I don't know outside of that, because that's not what I'm reading on. I'm just reading on those people who gave the tours. Basically, I'm not sure they'll get criminally charged, but I do think that there will be a hearing in Congress. And then what I get here is the long-term answer is this moon card, like howling at the moon. You see these two dogs, and I'm drawn to the fact one's brown, one's yellow. I feel we're going to be hearing from people in Congress. We're going to have one of those trials where everybody speaks. But you do get like the both sides, which is how it works. So if you're looking for accountability, I feel you can expect that to be something that eventually comes up in Congress. I'll tell you, beneath the surface of that card, I did get this, just validating this, looking deeper into this Hermit card, examining and looking deeper into this Page of Swords. That would be communications. So we're looking deeper into the communications and what did she say? That Page of Swords would be like words and messages. And then this Page of Pentacles is would be like news of money. A testimony, a day of testimonies, looking into the messaging and whether there was money that was given to any of these people. If not money, a pentacle could represent something physical of value, like I wonder about maps or drawings given out that would have helped rioters navigate inside the Capitol. I'm sure they will look into that. And then the clarifiers on the moon card do tell me I get this Three of Swords. By the time we get to this testimony, someone will have already been cut. And I believe it's her. So that's good. But it's almost like maybe someone needs to be in trouble for having participated. There's enough evidence that somebody needs to go at least. And she is most like the heart of that sort of energy. Like, the heart pumps the blood to the rest, and it's like she would be the one to go. Because she's the most extreme and outspoken in that sort of insurrection way where you're like lying and sowing chaos and violence. So she might have to go. And this will be debated also publicly, which is a way of accountability. And then this Two of Pentacles is a card of uncertainty and sort of, I just feel like there's no definitive, say, charge or anything. It's more of a getting out the truth, as opposed to there's a charge and here's the charge and here's the punishment. It's just more of like, you decide, for the people, like, here's the information, and people need to like juggle that. Or it's like we'll just have to wait and see how the hearing goes and how people react to it. That will determine what comes next. And this could also be like people's careers are in flux. Like, because of this, it's like some people might be suddenly like, I think I'm going to retire next year, or, I think I'm going to resign. This is sort of saying, we'll see. And it's there's like an insecurity of position that comes out of it for some people, for sure. I do get this Knight of Swords beneath the surface of this, which I believe is like beneath this. Unfortunately, this Knight of Swords like brings me to those militia guys, those types. This card has come up for them before. You see like the red on the sword is very like violent looking. And unfortunately, I see that beneath the surface here. Like, I think all of this stuff is going to rile up these types, unfortunately. So I think there's going to just have to be like a lot of security around this when the time comes. you know, around the Capitol, because this will happen at the Capitol. And it could also be that some of this testimony, I wonder if some of these types will have to testify. That's interesting. Oh, wow. So you might get some of these militia people who have to go testify. So that would be really interesting. And yeah, people's careers will be in flux because of it. And I mean, this card, I do think is saying that someone's gonna go even before we get there, like sort of like the sacrificial, you know, one, so that they don't have, like, sort of like, okay, we'll give you her kind of thing, which I think would help the Republican Party anyway. And then this being sort of the testifying around those tours that comes out, I get these cards, which just really explains, and it might just be interesting to see how well it explains what they're going to be covering. Would be secret meetings, this 3 of Pentacles. This 10 of Cups, I would often read as like a really happy, wonderful card. But with these other 2 cards, I feel this to be like, you see that like joining of forces, right? So it's like, was this a secret plan to join with those militia types or rioters in order to 7 of Swords, like steal, take back, try to stop the election from being certified that day. And then this Hierophant here would be the Congress, this Justice upside down, trying to turn everything upside down. I mean, with these 2 cards, I so feel that day. This Hierophant could even specifically be representing Pence, who was sort of that authority figure that day. They tried to stop the justice from occurring that day, which was giving the election to Joe Biden. And then here, this 4 of Pentacles represents like in order to hold on to power. That's what that card kind of is, holding on to money, these coins. So it's like, yeah, so we kind of know that would be what this hearing or testimonies end up being about. So the video stopped, so I had to kind of reset my phone camera in case it looks different, but luckily I got that whole video recorded, and that was really it. Those are my thoughts on this based on the cards I got here. So as always, let me know if any of these cards spoke to you or whatever you're getting on your end, if you feel like sharing. But if not, no worries, and thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.